Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that Bot Skill Tweaker Mutator is broken. And while this information isn't exactly new, I now have the math to prove it by making the bots fight each other over 1,000 times. If you use this mutator or have no idea what it is, either way, this video should be very informative. Now, if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, here's some background. Bot Skill Tweaker is a mutator that was designed to let you change the skill level of each team. This was a especially useful tool for balancing as well as immersive gameplay. For example, a Special Forces CIA agent should probably be more skilled than a gang member, or perhaps a Marine should be more precise than a UN peacekeeper. Originally, there were two ways to make bots quote-unquote better, and that was through the default settings options of easy, medium, hard, which greatly improves bot accuracy and reaction time at each level. However, this is very limiting in the fact that it applies to all bots universally. What you might not know is that bots actually have a second hidden skill level which is randomly assigned to bots, categorizing them as beginner, normal, veteran, or elite. This feature is likely intentional to add variety and unpredictability to the gameplay experience. This is why some bots on your team might seem exceptionally skilled, while others might be better suited for moral support. So what exactly does this hidden bot skill level do? According to the wiki, this trait affects accuracy and reaction time. Additionally, a bot's skill level influences their likelihood of using specific weapons for certain tasks and their behavior in various scenarios. For example, a more skilled bot is more likely to target an aircraft with a mounted vehicle machine gun, whereas less skilled bots might just ignore the aircraft entirely. Essentially, it boils down to how easy is it to hit a target with a given weapon and whether that weapon is well suited for the target. Now on to why I even made this video. Being able to control this hidden trait is, or was, extremely useful. However, there's no information on each level's change. My original intention for this video was to study the effective difference between each skill level, starting with the impact of the supposed increased reaction time and accuracy on the ability to win a battle, and then possibly working up to the smarter traits of skill levels, such as choosing certain weapons or being better with vehicles. Unfortunately, I didn't get that far. I was aware that some people were having difficulties with this mutator, however, since the code for Ravenfield is proprietary, nobody actually knows how the AI works, so there was no definitive answer. I decided to get to the bottom of this and test this mutator in as controlled environment as possible. So the testing. I had bots run hundreds of trials, starting with the simplest baseline possible. First, I did a 1v1 arena, no mutators, 1 life, the exact same weapon, of which is the default RK-44, and on normal difficulty settings. And I know what you're thinking, holy crap, this map is incredible! And I know, map creation really is my hidden talent. I mean, just look at this beauty. Sarcasm aside, I ran 500 battles, and unsurprisingly, even results. 248 for the Eagles and 252 for the Ravens. So if you think one team is intrinsically better than the other, I can safely say bots are the exact same. A 2-match difference, which honestly was shockingly more even than I thought, but I can't complain, because this is a great benchmark for testing. So after a great start, I moved on to testing 10v10, because a 1v1 doesn't really emulate a real game, and ultimately that's what we were trying to find. How this mutator impacts full-on battles. And that's when things started going downhill. By changing just the count of bots, the outcomes changed drastically. Eagle absolutely dominated with 159 wins versus Red having 72, with Red ultimately having a 31% win rate. Concerned, I reversed the sides and got the inverse result. This time Blue had only 81 wins with Red getting 149, Blue boasting a 35% win rate. This was a huge issue, as although the map is perceived to be equal, the team on the left side typically attacked and moved forward, while the team on the right side typically defended. Now, I'm not great at maps, or do I really know how to make them, but the fact that the slightest change in a map can have the hugest repercussions made testing that much harder. Perplexed, I decided to take a step back to 1v1s since that was more evenly matched and simpler, so I decided to move forward and actually test the skill tweaker, hoping to see some sort of change in accuracy or reaction time. I tested Blue at normal skill and Red at beginner, same conditions as the first 1v1 with only the mutator changed, and Blue actually ended up doing worse. Concerned with siding being an issue, I did an additional 105 games with the side swap, and still, Red did better despite being a lower skill level. Blue had 85 wins on the first half with Red having 121, 41% win rate for Blue, and then in the second half, Blue had 55 with Red having 60, 47.8% win rate. These were not the numbers I expected. They didn't make any sense. Either way, if Bot Skill Tweaker worked or not, how did Blue actually perform worse? I decided to press on and try a higher skill disparity, veteran versus beginner, and I got similar results, Blue having 61 wins, Red having 67. Finally, I tried elite, which is the highest skill difference, and thankfully we saw some sort of difference, Blue getting 81 wins and Red getting 63. Finally, some sort of win for blue and the mutator. At this point, I was still confused and curious if the difficulty setting in the main menu had any serious impact. Perhaps having on normal mode raised the skill floor, allowing red to do well even at beginner skill level. So I set that to easy and retried the veteran trial. And at first I thought it worked, with blue getting 97 wins and red getting 82. And we see blue doing a little well. However, when we reverse the sides, red picks it back up, with blue getting 47 wins and red getting 58. At this point, I was concerned at the variability of these 1v1s and the fact that having over 100 matches of each trial didn't really yield any conclusive evidence. So I decided to do a bulk trial of Elite versus Beginner on easy mode. 500 with blue on the left, then the reverse, blue on the right, for a total of 1,000 1v1s for just one singular test. And unfortunately, the results aren't great. Keep in mind, this is the greatest skill difference possible, and this was still the end result. Blue at 256 wins and red at 230. This was a 52.6% win rate. On the reverse, blue had 225 and then red had 275 at a 55% win rate. The bot mutator just had no impact, and even potentially had a slightly negative impact on the ability to win a 1v1. Now, are these results of a 1v1 the most representative of how a Ravenfield battle would typically play out? Not necessarily, but I believe that it's a great way to see if the mutator works in a vacuum. A core tenet of what the hidden skill level changed was improved accuracy and reaction time, which would undoubtedly increase a bot's ability to win a 1v1, as the only real skill on display is just that: can you kill your enemy faster? Simply put, bot skill tweaker does not work. Or if it does not affect accuracy and reaction time of bots, which one could argue is the biggest draw of even using the mutator. To clarify my testing strategy, after one side gets a kill, the entire game resets. Bots don't get the opportunity to spawn camp, run out of bullets, or get some sort of advantage by getting the first blood. It's all based on the first encounter. At this point, I realized I was putting in way too many hours trying to figure out the smallest variables and nuances to this mutator, and to the game itself. So I'm stopping at just 1v1s. But yeah, bot skill tweaker doesn't work in its current state, and this is of course not any shade thrown at the creator, as really, what can they do? We don't have access to the Ravenfield code, so changing it isn't really possible. The mutator was great, but for now, it's broken, and unfortunately, there are no alternatives on the workshop. If this ever does get fixed, I'll be sure to return for my original intention of the video. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and this was a long process to figure out, but I had fun and learned a little. So, I'll take that as a plus. Thanks for sticking through it to the end there, and as always, feel free to like or subscribe. Thanks for watching, and peace.